Welcome to the latest in our series of Creator Showcase videos. Today we're joined by one of our community managers, Russ, to talk about another of our upcoming games, Interception. So Russ, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your history and your experience making games?
Yeah, hi, so I'm Russ. A lot of people might recognise at least my voice from the streams. So I've been working at Unit 2 Games for a couple of years now, and my kind of primary role is to basically play Crayta, make games on Crayta and start to kind of define what sort of content we can get out of it. So, you know, these sorts of games that we're seeing, these are the sort of things that I make in and out every day. And my kind of history with gaming is actually, I'm fairly new to the industry. So this is kind of my dream job, really, just getting to go to work and to sort of sit and make games all day. Yeah, it's amazing.
And tell us about this particular game you made for Crayta and what it's all about.
So Interception is sort of a take on a team PvP shooter. We were kind of looking for different ideas of how we can kind of showcase the various things that Crayta's capable of. So we have some games where, you know, we've kind of tried to make the most out of the save system, or we've tried to make the most out of other various parts. We include a lot of tools and a lot of API around allowing players to do some very cool things around weapons and raycasting and that sort of thing. But also we have quite a sort of sophisticated voxel destruction system where we can kind of respawn voxels, we can blow them up in all sorts of different ways. So I kind of figured quite a nice way to showcase those things would be a sort of round-based shooter where players are kind of set various objectives and they can use the environment to their advantage by blowing holes in walls, or defenders can reinforce walls and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think it was kind of along those lines of trying to showcase those things.
And so what inspired you to take this particular approach to showcase those things?
So there's various games that kind of follow a similar thing. And again, Crayta's kind of out-of-the-box multiplayer made it really kind of nice and quick and easy to start sort of prototyping out different game modes, for example. So kind of this game specifically has a lot of its own kind of game modes built into it. So each match will have sort of 5 game modes where you go through various things, and all those sort of inspirations came from kind of lots of existing games that I kind of pulled in to make it as fun as possible. We have lots of different kind of objective sites around the map, so each time players play at the map, and kind of the gameplay will feel very different and exciting. So yeah, I think a lot of those individual rounds and things were inspired by all sorts of different games in the kind of shooter genre.
What are you most pleased with how the final game turned out?
So I think one of the things I'm kind of most pleased with is the kind of depth of the mechanics. I tried to introduce as many kind of various mechanics as I could. So as I say, there's various game modes, but then each team, so attack and defense, get special equipment. So for example, the defenders get to reinforce walls, they get to place things that will slow down attackers. Attackers get various breach equipment where they can sort of detonate through walls, all sorts of different weaponry. There's a CCTV system that the defenders can use to kind of try and find where these hackers are. You get to see where your teammates are, so using the kind of sophisticated UI engine that we have in Crayta, I've kind of got these tags on the players, so as you're running through the level, you get to see a sort of a little tag through the walls, essentially, so you can kind of coordinate where your team are. And then kind of one of the other things is, because of all of these in-depth mechanics and there being a lot of different sort of things for the players to have to try and learn, I introduced a kind of lobby world. So when players first jump into Interception, they end up inside a kind of a firing range, was the idea. So you're able to walk around and actually learn how to play the game before you jump into any maps. So I thought that would be quite a cool way of introducing that. And again, I think a lot of people, especially at the studio when we've played this game, really appreciated that kind of real in-world tutorial showing them how to play with a lot of the in-depth mechanics. So that was one of the things I was really pleased with.
Cool. And what are you most looking forward to seeing other people create within Crayta?
I'm really interested to see kind of what people can come up with that I haven't thought of. So as I say, I've spent the last couple of years making games in Crayta, really sort of trying to broaden the horizons of what we can make and push it to its limits. But already, we're seeing interesting comments about the sorts of things that players want to make, and they're already including things that I never thought of. So I'm just super excited to see where people can take the game, beyond my own imagination, and just see what people can come up with that I've never really thought of.
So thanks very much, Russ, for introducing us to Interception, which you'll be able to play on Crayta this summer, exclusively on Stadia. In the meantime, though, check out the rest of our Creator Showcase videos to learn about some of the other titles that are coming up. And remember to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with all the Crayta news and get alerts for our twice-weekly live streams hosted by Russ.